Hey guys, welcome to Tech Approved. In today's video, I'm going to tell you guys the top 5 facts about the new Xbox Series X. The first thing is definitely going to be the SSD. The SSD is going to be the main thing changing both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. We will notice biggest improvements in the way games load. Microsoft has already told us some of the ways the new Series X will be able to take advantage of this new SSD. The biggest advantage of it would be reducing the load times of games. With games being on SSDs, games will probably not need loading screens at all, as the speeds of these new SSDs will be incredibly fast. They are much faster than regular hard drives, and if any of you guys have used a PC with an SSD versus an old PC with a hard drive, you would notice that with an SSD it will be able to boot up in the matter of 5 seconds. And with a hard drive, you could be waiting for as long as 3 minutes. That's quite a big difference. Another cool feature that is being added is Quick Resume. This feature is exclusive to the Xbox, and this feature will give Xbox Series X owners the ability to have multiple games open and switch between them at any time. So for example, I'll give you guys a little example. Let's say I was having some fun times and I was playing Forza Motorsport. And I decided to go online and I was waiting for the lobby to start. Now, rather than just sitting there doing nothing and just waiting the 10 minutes it would take, I could just simply pause the game there and I could go open up Fortnite, and then I could do a quick match of Fortnite, and then after doing my match, I would go back to Forza Motorsport and the game would start then, and then I would have the ability to finish my race. After doing the race, maybe I decide, I want to go back to playing Fortnite. If I left off Fortnite in the middle of a game or something, it would take me right back there and it would pause back from there, and I would simply be able to continue playing my game just from that. And again, this feature is not limited to just 2 games. Microsoft has shown this feature working with 4 games. Now, another thing is these games are also getting incredibly giant. We have seen games that are taking 100 gigs or so, and with the new Call of Duty, we have seen that's taking up 200 gigs and stuff. That's an incredible amount, and with only having a terabyte on both the PS5 and the Series X, with the PS5 actually having 825 and the Series X having a terabyte, we won't have many games that are on our consoles, as they'll be taking a lot of space on them. So Microsoft has already shown us how they're going to solve the solution with a card that they partnered with Seagate to create. This card directly plugs in to the back of the PS5 and provides an additional 1 terabyte, and it will be as fast as the built-in SSD. Hopefully we will see that Seagate will then produce more drives that have more storage, so we could really have a lot more capabilities with this new Series X. The new Series X will be getting an overhaul with its power, and this year we will have a console capable of pushing 8K content along with 4K at 120 FPS. Now, just because it might be able to support 8K does not mean that you should expect to be running games at 8K. These consoles will probably be running games at 4K most of the time, and 8K, I would say if you're looking for 8K gaming, you should probably wait a couple of years. So hold back on buying that new 8K TV and just get a 4K TV. So for the first time, along with these 4K TVs and these consoles, we'll be getting 120 FPS. That is something that we have never seen on a console. This is incredible, as finally people on console will be able to compete with people on PC, and there won't be such a big difference between smoothness. Now, you might be thinking, do I need to upgrade my current TV to use these new consoles? Well, no, technically you don't have to, but if you want to take full advantage of these new consoles, you need to make sure your new TV has variable refresh rate, and it supports 120 FPS with 4K, and it also has an HDMI 2.1 port. Even if you decide to use your older TV, these consoles will still work, so it will matter what TV you have. But definitely, if you want to take full advantage of them, you can just get a new TV with HDMI 2.1, variable refresh rate, and 120 Hz, and you'll be good to go. The new power in the Series X will be quite powerful and will be able to rival current high-end PCs quite well, such as the RTX 2080. Another huge improvement we are going to see is a new CPU. The CPUs on the last gen consoles weren't too amazing. This year, we are going to be seeing 4 times more powerful CPUs on the new Xbox One X. This CPU is supposed to have 8 cores, with each core clocked at 3.8 GHz, which is quite incredible, and that's a lot more than you see on some PCs nowadays. The new Xbox controller is something that we won't be seeing a big leap in this department compared to something like Sony that is going with a huge overhaul of the new DualSense controller. But nevertheless, we have already seen that the Xbox controller was already a great controller and is now just being further improved. With the new controller for the Xbox Series X, we will be getting a new share button, which will make it a lot easier to quickly share clips, screenshots, and other clips. And just like the Elite controller, the Series X controller is finally getting a circular D-pad to allow for better usability. The triggers have also been textured for a better grip, and I know this will make a huge advantage for anybody interested in playing racing games or FPS games where you are using the triggers quite often. Otherwise, the controller has been shrunk by the smallest amount, and Microsoft has worked to reduce the latency of the controller. Also, if you paid like $100 or so for those Xbox Design Lab controllers, and you want to know if you'll be able to use them with your new Series X, you'll be happy to know that all of the existing accessories will also work with the new Series X.
And you would naturally, as
the design is something that definitely does not have much to talk about compared to the PS5. With the PS5 having such a striking design, Microsoft has decided to go with a design that follows function over design. The Series X is supposed to be bigger than the Xbox One X, but will be smaller than the PS5. This is due to the cooling of the system. Microsoft has went with a design supposedly inspired by the old Mac Pro Trash Can edition. It will simply have one small fan that will cool the system quietly. Hopefully, the Xbox Series X won't have the same problems the Mac Pro did, and it will not actually be a very bad trash can. Microsoft has made the console in a way that it will be quiet and the max performance will be able to be used. Compared to something like the PS5, well, the design is definitely amazing and I do love it, but it will have to be a bigger console as it's going to be harder to cool. It also seems like Sony has decided to keep the system underclocked at times, as the PS5 will vary in the amount of power it is creating. Compared to the Xbox Series X, it will be able to maintain its high performance more of the time thanks to its great cooling capabilities. Overall, while the design is simple, it will work well to cool the system and will add a simple modern look to any TV setup. The final thing I'd like to talk about is the backward compatibility. And this is definitely one of the ways the Xbox will have a huge advantage. Microsoft has already told us that you will simply be able to play all your Xbox One games straight on the Series X. This will be great as you could simply fire up an Xbox One digital game and Microsoft still remembers all those physical games you bought. As they have said, you will simply be able to slide in those games and get playing all of those Xbox One games also. Now, you may be wondering, what about my old original Xbox and Xbox 360 games? Well, Microsoft hasn't forgotten about those either. They have supported a huge amount of older games, and you can simply just take those discs and plug them in to be upscaled to a higher resolution to enjoy your older games in a new way you've never been able to before. This is definitely a huge advantage on Microsoft's side, as we have seen that the PS5 will run PS4 games and some of the older PS4 titles, but I think Microsoft will win in terms of backwards compatibility on the Series X due to the large library of games that are going to be supported. In the end, it will be quite interesting to see how Microsoft and Sony will continue to slowly show us more information and the price on the new consoles, as the launch date for the consoles is coming up quite soon. We already know the Series X will be launching during the Thanksgiving weekend, and that the PS5 will probably be around a similar time. If you guys like this video on the Xbox Series X and would like to learn more, please be sure to subscribe, as we will be making more videos on the upcoming consoles. And yeah, that's it for today, and I hope you guys have a great day.